They told me for years there was no money in podcasting. Well, they were all wrong.
I thought you were like big in the wrestling podcast that. Do you still have that?
That's what I've been doing. I've been doing it for 7 years. Kings Wings podcast. Okay. We're approaching episode 300 in a month or two.
Dang, nice work.
So that was my baby. That's what got me into podcasts, because I entered sophomore year thinking, okay, I'm in a radio station, but I need something more. I love podcasts. Like every Saturday I listen to TWFS. Like I had my slew of podcasts listened to at Hofstra. Like I'd be playing video games and listening to podcasts. I still do that to this day. In fact, I'm gonna do it when we get off this phone call. I started thinking, okay, I need a podcast. And then I was home for winter break or Thanksgiving break, one or the other. And I was at my buddy Phil's house, in the basement watching hockey. And my other friend Christian was there, and we started just talking about wrestling. He's just like, Will, do you want to start a wrestling podcast? I just look him in the eye. Are you serious? So he's like, yeah, let's do it. From there, we got the name Kings of the Rings. We came up with the idea for the logo. I got it made. And then within 2 or 3 months, we launched.
I mean, you've been how successful have you been? Because from my perspective, it seems like that's been fairly successful.
Depends how you define success. I consider it successful because when I've done it for this long, I've made two or three of my best friends through doing it. I have met fans who listen to my show, which is the weirdest thing ever. We went to WrestleMania in New Orleans, and this chick from Florida was just also there. So she messaged Ricky on Twitter. We met up at 3 partied over there on Bourbon Street. That was really cool. Mr. Fretz, who is the guest on this podcast, which released this week, fan from Canada, he found us. He listened to us when he was on the treadmill losing weight. So that was really cool. We interact with him all the time. We have a very small community of fans, but they're dedicated, and I do it for them. Yeah. So in terms of success, we don't have thousands of downloads. We don't have sponsors. We're not financially, quote unquote, successful. But that goes back to my original point. Like, I don't care.
Well, I mean, I'm not familiar with that world really at all. Are there like top tier wrestling podcasts that are really well known? And
people make money. But a lot of them are former wrestlers. Like a lot of them are celebrities in wrestling, which is where the money comes from. But there are some out there, like the Matt Men podcast, who I got to reach out to him. I'm trying to get him on this podcast because he's an inspiration for me. I started listening to him in 2016, give or take. And he's been podcasting for about 10 years with the same guy, and watching him grow and his show become a success and how much money they're making now. And, I feel like I know him. I've also met him personally at wrestling shows. So he's a really awesome guy. His name's Andrew Zarian. And, they're just two dudes who are fans who made a podcast and became successful and now are making money. So it is possible. But a lot of wrestling podcasts are just fans out there, and they just don't, they're just fans talking shit. Mm-hmm. That's most of them. That's most podcasts. Most podcasts is people talking shit, not making a dime. But, if you're doing that for podcasting, unless you are a celebrity and you're a business who can put money behind it, if you're starting a podcast to make money, it's going to take a while, because they have been podcasting for 8 or 9 years before they started making a dime. Joe Rogan started podcasting in 2011, and he didn't become real for about 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Like real, like actual money, like fuck you money. So it takes a lot of time.